My name is Kayla Thompson, and I'm 28 years old, growing up in Denver. It was always obvious I was the one they experimented on, the kid who got the short end of every stick. My sister got everything handed to her on a silver platter: private lessons, fancy trips, even a shiny new car at 16. Me, I scraped by with part-time jobs and student loans that still haunt my bank account. I built my life as a graphic designer despite it all. But the favoritism never stopped stinging. It built up like a storm until one day, it broke me completely. They forgot my birthday entirely: no call, no text, nothing. But then I saw her post, keys in hand, grinning in front of that brand new Tesla they'd bought her as a reward for hard work. The rage hit like a punch. I confronted them, voice steady but heart pounding, laying out years of being overlooked. Their excuses flew back, dismissing me as overreacting. That was the final straw. I decided right then to vanish from their world, cutting ties so cleanly they'd never see it coming. When they finally realized and scrambled in panic to track me down, scrambling through every desperate move imaginable, it was already too late. Their frantic search exposed cracks I never knew existed, turning their perfect family facade into chaos. But this was my turning point, the spark that ignited a plan years in the making. If you've ever felt invisible in your own home, you won't believe what unfolded next. Tell me where you're from and what time it is. Let's see how far this story goes. That forgotten birthday was the breaking point I never saw coming. Looking back on my childhood in Denver, the favoritism started early and never let up. Alexis always got the spotlight: ballet classes at $200 a month, piano lessons that turned her into a mini prodigy, art camps every summer where she'd come home with ribbons. Mom and Dad would beam at her recitals, posting photos everywhere. Me. They told me we couldn't afford extras, that I was the independent one who'd figure it out on my own. So I did. High school meant flipping burgers after class to save for college, while Alexis got sleepovers and trips. When I headed to university, I juggled 3 jobs: barista shifts at dawn, tutoring at night, even dog walking on weekends to cover tuition. Ended up with $40,000 in loans that still eat at my paycheck every month. Alexis. They paid her full ride, including study abroad in Europe and sorority fees. After I graduated and landed my graphic design gig, I kept hoping things would even out. But no, they helped her with rent on a cute apartment downtown, while I scraped by in a cramped studio. Their excuse was always the same: we've learned from raising you, Kayla. Now we can do better for her. It burned, but I swallowed it, thinking family ties mattered more. Until that post changed everything. I scrolled through TikTok one evening, a week after my birthday passed in silence, and there it was. Alexis posing with keys in front of a sleek Tesla, caption glowing about Mom and Dad's surprise gift for her new job. My stomach dropped. I stared at the screen, heart racing, replaying every overlooked milestone in my life. Without thinking, I dialed Mom. "Susan, how could you forget my birthday but drop that much on a car for her?" My voice shook, but I held steady. She answered cheerfully at first, like nothing was wrong. "Oh, honey, the Tesla. Isn't it amazing? Alexis has been killing it at her coordinator role. We wanted to celebrate her milestone." I cut in sharp. "Her milestone? I've been grinding for years, 2 jobs through school, and you never once offered help. A text would have cost nothing." There was a long pause. Then her tone shifted defensive. "Kayla, she's just starting out, and the market's tough. We didn't mean to hurt you. Time slips away sometimes." I pressed harder. "Slips away. You remembered her everything, but I'm the afterthought." She sighed, exasperated. "Don't make this dramatic. We love you both equally." The words stung like a slap. I hung up without goodbye, tears streaming as the room spun. For the first time, I saw clearly they'd never change. That night, curled on my couch, I made the call to myself I was done chasing their approval. Over the next 6 weeks, I mapped it all out quietly. First, I accepted the job offer in Phoenix, 15% higher salary, remote-friendly design work that fit my skills perfectly, and 600 miles from Denver's shadows. The distance felt right, a clean break from the mountains to the desert heat. I listed steps on my notepad, blocked them on social media that very night. No dramatic posts, just silent removal. Change my number in 2 weeks. Porting it to a new carrier for a fresh start. Sell unnecessary furniture, online couch, old desk, bookshelves to fund the move without dipping into savings. Scout apartments in Phoenix remotely. Settling on a 1-bedroom with a view. Lease signed digitally. I didn't tell Jasmine or Travis the exact address, just that I needed a change for work. Each action built my resolve, turning hurt into quiet power. By the end, my car was packed, ready for the drive that would rewrite everything. The morning finally arrived. It was a crisp Saturday in Denver, exactly 6 weeks after my silent birthday. I woke early, adrenaline pumping as I grabbed my phone first, with steady fingers. I blocked Susan, Gregory, and Alexis across everything: phone contacts, Instagram feeds, Facebook friends lists. No hesitation, just quick taps sealing them out. Next came the number switch. I ported to a new carrier, keeping only Jasmine, Travis, and Brandy on the list for emergencies. Before packing the last box, I drafted a simple email to the family account. I need space. Don't contact me. No explanations. No address hints. Nothing to trace. I hit send, feeling a weight lift even as my chest tightened. Loading the car took an hour, essentials in the trunk, design portfolio on the passenger seat. As I pulled onto the highway, Denver's skyline faded in the rearview mirror. The drive stretched ahead, hours of open road through mountains turning to flatlands. Light relief mixed with nagging worry. What if they didn't notice at all? But I pushed it down, focusing on the horizon. Settling in Phoenix hit different. I arrived dusty and exhausted, keys to my 1-bedroom in Tempe waiting at the leasing office close enough to the new office for a quick commute. Unpacking flew by, setting up my desk with monitors, stocking the kitchen with basics from a local market. The first week blurred into orientations at work, where I met Evan during a team lunch. He was the senior designer, easygoing with a dry humor that cut through my nerves. New to the heat. Try the local brewery after shift, it helps, he suggested. And we grabbed drinks that evening, talking shop over craft beers, to shake off the isolation. I signed up for a hiking group online, tackling Camelback Mountain on my first outing. The steep trails burned my legs, but the views at the top cleared my head. That's where I bumped into Dylan, an engineer in the group, chatting about desert sunsets during breaks. Work picked up fast. My first project, a branding overhaul, earned quick praise from the team lead during review. Solid vision. Kayla, keep pushing boundaries. Freedom tasted strange at first. No more glancing at my phone for half-hearted texts from Susan, just quiet notifications from new contacts. Nights brought fleeting memories of Jasmine's laughs, so I called her once, keeping it light. I'm okay, just needed a real change. She didn't press, and that small connection grounded me without pulling back. 4 months into my Phoenix life, the silence broke. My phone buzzed one January evening, Jasmine's name lighting up the screen. Susan called me at work today. Freaking out, she said, voice low. She asked if you've responded to any texts, kept saying she's worried you're upset about the Tesla thing. I leaned back in my Tempe apartment, picturing Susan's voice cracking with panic. Jasmine stayed firm. I told her you need space. Nothing more. But Susan wasn't buying it. She'd tracked down Travis too, grilling him about my old Denver friends. "Have you seen her? Did she say anything about moving?" she pressed. According to his text later, nobody knew my new city, not even my closest allies. I'd made sure of that, keeping my tracks covered like a ghost. Susan's calls painted a picture of a mother unraveling, but it felt hollow. She'd never called to check on me before. Her sudden concern rang more like guilt than care, and I wasn't ready to ease it for her. By February, Gregory stepped in. Travis texted me again. "Your dad showed up at your old design firm in Denver, looking like he hadn't slept. He'd stormed into the office, demanding to see Carla, my former boss." "Where's Kayla? Is she okay?" he barked, pacing the lobby. "Carla. Cool as ever. Shut him down with policy. I can't share employee information." "Mr. Thompson? She's an adult, not a missing person." Gregory's face reddened, his voice rising about calling the police for a welfare check. Carla didn't flinch, repeating she had no details to give. Travis said it was almost pitiful, Gregory's desperation clashing with the reality that I'd left by choice. I stared at the message, a bitter smile forming. He'd never shown that energy for my college graduation, not even a card. Reading their texts, I felt a spark of triumph. They were finally tasting what it meant to lose someone, the way I'd felt sidelined my whole life. Travis's words echoed in my head. "He looked desperate," I typed back. Funny, he didn't look desperate when I was drowning in loans. The sting of their neglect fueled me, but a small pang of guilt crept in had I pushed too far. Then Evan's voice from our last coffee chat cut through. "You didn't make them ignore you, Kayla. They chose that path." His words steadied me, grounding my resolve to keep my distance. Their panic was their problem, not mine. Their search got louder. Late February hit, and Jasmine texted me a screenshot that stopped me cold. Gregory had posted on LinkedIn, his profile picture all business, but the words screamed desperation, searching for my daughter Kayla. She may be distressed. Reward for any information on her whereabouts. I read it twice, sitting at my desk in Phoenix, the words sinking in like a blade. A reward. Now they were putting a price on finding me. As if I was some lost pet. Jasmine added. "It's blowing up. Colleagues are sharing it, saying they're praying for you." The irony twisted in my gut. They never prayed for me when I was right there, begging for a scrap of attention. I wanted to laugh, but the hurt ran deeper, knowing they'd painted me as fragile to strangers. It wasn't care, it was control. A way to rewrite their neglect as my instability. I didn't respond to Jasmine, just closed the app, my hands shaking slightly. Then Alexis upped the game. Travis forwarded a DM he got from a random TikTok account, some travel blogger asking, "Hey, you know Kayla Thompson? Trying to reconnect, heard she's in Phoenix." I checked it myself, stock photo profile, bio full of emojis, but the writing screamed Alexis. She'd made a fake account, posting in Phoenix groups, fishing for leads, old friend looking for Kayla. About 28 works in design. I saw it through Jasmine's phone when we FaceTimed, her screen showing Alexis's desperate attempts to track me. I declined the follow request, heart pounding with defiance. She even messaged my old Denver classmates, playing the concerned sister. But nobody bit. Her persistence grated. She'd never texted me happy birthday, but now she was a detective. Brandy called a week later, her voice tense. "Your mom showed up at my building in Denver. Kayla." She was in the lobby, crying, asking neighbors if they saw anything odd before you left. Susan had grabbed her arm lightly, eyes red, pleading. "Please, just tell me she's okay." Brandy shook her off, saying she couldn't help, and headed upstairs. She stayed for 20 minutes. Knocking on doors, Brandy added. The image of Susan, frantic in that familiar Denver lobby, sparked a flicker of pity. But Evan's words from our last chat echoed. They're not chasing you, they're chasing their own guilt. Their efforts spiraled further. By March, they'd hired a private investigator, and Jasmine got the first call. She texted me right after, "Some PI just grilled me about your routine. Friends, even your mental state before you left Denver." The guy was thorough, asking if I'd seemed off or mentioned any threats. Jasmine kept it tight. "Kayla's fine, moved on her own terms." Travis got a similar call, the investigator digging into my old work schedule, probing if I'd acted paranoid. Brandy said he showed up at her Denver apartment, flashing a business card, asking about my habits. Did I leave suddenly? Seemed stressed. He even brought up an old Instagram post of mine, a desert sunset captioned "endings and new starts." Acting like it was a cryptic clue, he wrote it down like it meant something big. Brandy laughed over the phone. I shook my head. Sitting in my Tempe office, the absurdity hitting hard. They were turning my normal life into a mystery novel, chasing shadows I'd left behind on purpose. Then came the official move. In early April, my phone rang with an Arizona number. It was Maria Lopez, a social worker from Phoenix's Department of Human Services. "I'm calling for a wellness check," she said calmly. "Your family's concerned you might be in danger or struggling." I gripped my coffee mug, voice steady but pulse racing. "I'm safe. Maria. I moved to Phoenix voluntarily for a job. No crisis here." She pressed gently, saying they'd reported fears of foul play or emotional distress. I gave her the short version: family issues. Needed distance. My choice. She sounded relieved, noting she'd closed the case as independent relocation. "They provided a lot of details about you," she added. "Seems like they know you well." I bit back a laugh. They thought they did. Evan caught me staring out the window after the call, lost in thought. Over beers at the brewery, he leaned in. "They're not done." "Are they?" I shook my head. Recounting Maria's call, he didn't hesitate. "You need to send them a message through Jasmine, spell out why you left, the birthday, the Tesla, all their favoritism. Make it clear it's too late to fix." His words hit like a spark. I nodded, drafting a text to Jasmine later that night. "Tell them to think about how they ignored me but showered Alexis with everything. I'm done waiting for their love." It felt final, a line drawn in the sand. The message I sent through Jasmine landed like a bomb. By May, she called me in Phoenix, her voice heavy with the fallout. "Susan got your text about the birthday and Tesla," she broke down crying. "Begging for your number," Jasmine said. She'd held firm, refusing to share more than my words. "Think about how you ignored me but showered Alexis with everything." Susan's tears didn't sway me. They felt like too little, too late. Jasmine added that Gregory and Susan were unraveling at home. He blamed her for favoring Alexis, sparking nightly arguments in their Denver house. "They're sleeping in separate bedrooms now," Jasmine whispered, hearing it from a mutual friend. Their marriage, once a polished front, cracked under the strain of my absence. I sat on my Tempe balcony, staring at the desert stars, feeling a strange mix of vindication and emptiness. Their fights weren't my fault, but they were the consequence of choices they'd made long before I left. Alexis faced her own reckoning. Her TikTok posts, once brimming with Tesla boasts, turned into vague laments about family struggles. Travis texted me a link to one feeling lost without my sister. Comments piled on, some supportive, others brutal, calling her out for flaunting wealth while I'd vanished. Her followers dropped, and Jasmine heard through Denver contacts that Alexis's friends had started pulling away. Tired of her drama. Worse, she'd missed payments on the Tesla, drowning in debt as her entry-level job couldn't keep up. The car, Her shining gift became a weight, her credit score tanking. I didn't gloat. But the irony burned. She'd built her image on their favoritism. And now it was crumbling. My life in Phoenix, though, was blooming. Work pushed me forward. A promotion to lead designer came with a corner desk and bigger projects. Dylan and I grew closer, planning weekend hikes up South Mountain, his steady presence a contrast to Denver's chaos. Evan became a constant, too. Grabbing coffee between deadlines, his advice keeping me grounded. "You're building something real here," he said once, nodding at my new life. I felt it every step. From client pitches to sunset trails, was mine alone? The contrast hit hard. Their world was falling apart. But mine was coming together. I ignored Susan's final plea, forwarded by Jasmine, asking for one call to fix things. No call could undo years of neglect. My resolve hardened, knowing their chaos was the harvest of their own actions. The fallout settled by summer. Jasmine called one last time in June, her voice quiet. "Susan and Gregory finalized their divorce last month," she said. Their Denver home sold fast, split assets leaving them in smaller condos, their social circle shrinking as friends picked sides. Susan tried one final email, forwarded by Jasmine, pleading for a call to make things right. I deleted it without replying. My heart steady. No call could erase years of being invisible. Alexis's world collapsed harder. Her TikTok rants about family drama backfired. Local blogs picked up the story, exposing her as the favored child who lost me. Her followers tanked further, and her missed Tesla payments led to repossession. Her credit score now a wreck. Denver contacts whispered she'd moved to a cheap rental, friendless after her boasts alienated everyone. Their chaos was the final proof their choices, not mine, tore their lives apart. In Phoenix, I thrived. My promotion to lead designer brought bigger clients, my portfolio shining with bold campaigns. Dylan and I planned a trip to Sedona, hiking red rock trails under wide skies, our talks turning to a shared future. Evan stayed my rock, his coffee runs fueling late-night project sessions. Joining a local art co-op filled my weekends with sketching, each piece a step further from Denver's shadows. Their desperate search, once a weight, became the gift I never expected. It pushed me to build a life that was fully mine. To anyone feeling like a ghost in their own family, you're not asking too much to want real love. Walk away. Build your own circle, people who see you without needing to be begged. I chose myself, and it's the strongest move I ever made.